Everybody's waiting in the waiting room here. Everybody's coming in early here. Apparently you guys are starting to learn our routine. Yes, we are generally going to be doing our live streams right around this time every day. So thank you all for joining us. Let's see, looks like we've got Coletta watching from NorCal. Awesome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We'll give people a little bit more time to jump in here. Just gonna grab my colors here, let you guys kind of get a little bit of a preview of what we're gonna be working with here today. So you can kind of, just to get a little bit of an idea. And let's see here. Got a few more people joining us. Again, we'll just give everybody just a couple more minutes to, or a couple more seconds, maybe 30 seconds or so to jump in here before I really get into our nails today. We're going to be doing some gel nails. So if you're a gel user, you're in the right spot. If you're not quite a gel user yet, you're still in the right spot so you can learn how to use the gel today. We're going to be doing a really fun design with a whole bunch of different colors here, and I hope you guys are going to love it. So it looks like some more people are joining us. Those of you that are jumping in here on our live stream, give us a shout out in the comments here in the chat. Jillian Banks, hello. Penny Holt, hello. Let's see, Tiffany Rodriguez. Ooh, yep, you see glitter. Yeah, you guys jump in the chat here. Let me know who's watching us today, who's with us today, and maybe even tell me where you're watching us from. I want to know. I want to know where you guys are joining us from. Let me know. Ooh, a boogie. Hello to you. How you doing? Yes, you guys. As you can kind of see here, I've put out a few of the colors. We're going to just use a few colors today, a few glitters. And hopefully we're going to have some fun. I think you guys are going to enjoy this design today. I'm actually going to really enjoy it because blues and greens are kind of my favorite color scheme. So I was going to go with that for a Friday, and let's get started. Let's see, where's everybody joining us from? We got, I'm assuming STL St. Louis. We got MH from Connecticut. Awesome. Penny's upstate New York. You guys, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Ooh, Vancouver, Washington. I love it. Beautiful area up there. All right, let me get started on our prep here. You guys jump in. Tell me who you are. Tell me where you're coming from. I'd love to know where you guys are at. Ooh, Illinois. You're my neighbor. You're my neighbor right across the borders over there. Let's see, Pennsylvania. Awesome. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna go through, push back our cuticles just like we always do. It's the same prep that we're gonna do whether you're doing acrylic, hard gel, gel polish, it's all gonna be the same prep. So pushing back the cuticles. And, ooh, Esmeralda, Anaheim, California. Yes, that is exactly where Young Nails is based out of. You are in the right area. Okay, I've got my electric file on about actually I'm gonna turn that up to about 5,000 RPMs using my medium sanding band. And I'm just going to come right up around the cuticle area, just short little strokes around that cuticle, and then just kind of a light feathering motion through the rest of the surface of that nail. Making sure to get all of the shine removed, but just very gently, and I'm not working in the same spot over and over. I'm kind of keeping my bit, keeping it moving, but then only in those areas that I need to remove shine. Okay, so quick and easy. Removing your shine, prepping those nails doesn't have to take a long time. It shouldn't, but looks like I got just a couple of little spots there that those need to be removed as well. Okay, good deal. All right, let me grab my manicure brush. We're gonna dust this nail off, get all of that dust off of there. And then, you guys kind of know the routine by now if you've been watching us for a little while. It's the same routine over and over. We're going to come in with our swipe, take a little pump of that on my manicure brush here, and I'm going to use that to brush through that nail, clean off all of the extra dust, all of germs, bacteria, anything that may be on that nail that we don't want. And that nail is going to now come back to a nice dry, chalky kind of a look. Give it just a couple of little seconds here. On a real person, that swipe is going to dry a lot faster than it does on the practice hands. But on the practice hands, our little Sally trainer hand here doesn't have blood flow. She's kind of cold, so it's going to take just another couple of seconds for this to set up, or for it to dry. But after that, we're going to come in with our protein bond, and our protein bond is going to be our anchor. That's going to kind of work like a double-sided tape. So it's going to stick down to our natural nail, but then it's going to leave a tacky surface for our product to adhere to. We're going to do 2 coats of our protein bond, and I start mine about halfway down that nail and then work back towards the cuticle so I'm not flooding that protein bond into our cuticle area. Protein bond is not a primer, it's a bonder, so it's going to stay sticky. It's not going to dry back to that chalky look like most other primers do. It does not have the methacrylic acid that a lot of primers do. It is a bonder, and it's going to just bond to that natural nail. Okay? All right, let's get our form. Amy, I'm so excited that you are loving these tutorials. I am having so much fun doing these tutorials for you guys. I love to be able to help teach and give you guys information, help you along your career as a nail tech or even just as an enthusiast. We are so excited to be able to help you guys, so welcome. So I just put my little center tab, excuse me, put my little center tab on the back of my form. That's going to help me give a little bit more structure and durability to my form here. I'm going to pinch those 2 little tabs together nice and even, and then we're going to just pop that right up underneath that nail and get that nice and even underneath there. You want to make sure that your form is coming fairly straight out from the nail. If I take a look at that from the side, it's coming straight out from that nail. It's not angled up or down. I'm going to pinch that in just a little bit more to kind of just taper that form a little bit so it's not looking too wide around the sides here. Okay. Let's see, Damn Tam is, you'll pay more than $150. You don't even know what the nail looks like yet. But I love your confidence. I love your confidence that it's going to be a beautiful nail. And you guys, I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about pricing, about how much you should be charging, because I pulled out a whole bunch of different colors, a whole bunch of different glitters, all kinds of different things that we're going to be using on this nail. And we got to make sure that we're charging appropriately for them. Okay, so we'll get into that a little bit as we go here. But let's start with our clear sculptor. Again, we're using our gels. These are our precision applicator tubes. And I'm just, whoops, going to throw things around. I do that from time to time. Okay, I'm going to take my clear sculptor here. I'm just going to squeeze out a little bit right at that free edge. Connect that product to my nail. Again, squeeze out just a little bit more up to the other side here. And then I'm gonna stop squeezing. I don't need any more product at this point, but I'm just gonna start to kind of use the nozzle of the applicator and just to kind of spread that product down my form. Now, if I feel like I need a little more product, I can squeeze out a little bit more and then continue to use that nozzle to move my product around. I think we're gonna do a stiletto here today. That's just kind of how my product came into play, so we're going to do that. I'm going to grab my brush, and I'm also going to grab just a little, either a mixing tile, little something that you can wipe your brush on. Okay, oops. All right, so you guys, this is our Pro Gel Sculptor, and this actually comes in 2 pieces. So you can use the top part to keep it nice and clean as a cap, and then you take that brush out, pop it in there, and you've got that brush handle, so you're good to go. So really great brush. I absolutely love this brush. I'm going to clean out my brush, make sure I don't have any extra gel in there, and then I'm just going to kind of use my brush just to make sure that my product is everywhere I need it. I'm going to use kind of the edge of my brush to just slide up that edge there, really crisp that edge up. Clean out my brush on my tile again. Same thing on the other side. And you guys, this is a really good kind of a trick to help you getting those sidewalls and those arches, those lower arches, nice and crisp so you don't have quite as much filing to do. Okay, let's pop this into our light. And we're just going to get that in the light just for a quick 30-second freeze. Now I want to make sure that any of my gels are away from my curing light. So anything that is gel does not want to be in front of the light here. If my brush was in front of there, or even my mixing tile with that little bit of gel is in front of the light, that light is going to cure any gels that are in front of it. So make sure that you have all of your products away from your light so that it's not going to cure any of those products. All righty, get just a couple more seconds. I'm going to come back with my base gel. Okay, we'll take this out. So my base gel is going to give us the best adhesion for our product to the nail. And I'm going to use the base gel over that natural nail area, but then I'm also going to pull it onto that free edge, just to really help connect those two. So connect our nail body area to our free edge. Come in a little bit there. Clean out my brush. Looks like I got a little bit of dust on my brush here, maybe from my mixing tile here. Let me just clean that off really quick. I want to make sure that I'm not getting any extra dust or anything into that nail. We don't want to contaminate it with anything, so I'm just using a little bit of polish remover just to clean off that surface. Nothing fancy, just a little polish remover. And then I'm gonna use that same wipe just to clean out that little bit of dust that may have been on my brush. Okay, now we can come back in with our base. I'm gonna take a little scoop, just a tiny little bit of a pearl of that. I don't need a lot. I'm gonna press that down up towards my cuticle area and pull that forward. Now this is one of the few gels that we're actually going to use some pressure with our brush. Most of the time with all of the other building gels, we actually want to float that product, float our brush over the surface of the product. But with our base, we do want to use some pressure to really get that product to kind of get down into all the little nooks and crannies of the nail. Now here's a trick that I like to do, is I'll take just another tiny little pearl and just kind of drag that right through that connection area. So right where my natural nail and that extension connect, I'm going to just kind of drag that through just to make sure I've got product connecting those two areas. Okay. Again, we're going to take our nail, pop that into our light. We're going to give this another 30-second freeze into place. And just enough to set that base layer. Okay. So next two products we're going to use are two of our manicure gel polishes, and I've got Aquamarine 101 and Aloe 101. And these two colors are beautiful separate, but they also blend really well together. When you're kind of blending colors, you kind of have to think about how colors are positioned on the color wheel. So blues and greens tend to, well, not tend to be, blues and greens are very close on the color wheel, so they're going to blend a lot easier than, say, maybe a blue and orange, okay? Blue and orange are opposite on the color wheel, so they're not going to blend as well together. So when you're doing blends and those kind of designs, kind of keep that color wheel in mind, okay? All right, let's take our form off. Now, you keep in mind, we just have a very thin layer of product here. We don't have a lot of structure, so I want to be careful when I'm taking my form off. I want to pinch it together underneath. I'm going to try to do this so you guys can see what happens, is that form is actually going to start to release from the product. You kind of, right on that end there, you kind of see how you can tell that it's releasing. You want to make sure it's fully released before you take that form off. If it's not releasing on its own, I just grabbed my magic wand here, and I'm just going to gently kind of press and really make sure, there we go, that that product pulls away from our form and it's completely released before we take that form off. Again, if it's not released and we pull that form down, what can happen is it can actually crack that free edge off. And then we kind of have to start all over again, which not the end of the world, but if we're a little bit more careful, it's going to be much easier in the long run. Okay? All right, I'm going to check my sides. I really don't have a whole lot hanging down. If I did have a lot more hanging down into that lower arch area, I could use a straight edge toenail clipper and just come in and clip off any excess. And again, that's going to make it easier in the long run when you're doing your filing. Okay, let's come in with our Aquamarine and our Aloe. Now, we're doing a dimensional nail, okay? I want to know, do you guys charge extra for your dimension and for your designs that are actually in the nail? Let me know in the chat. Are you charging more, or do you just include that in your price? Or if you don't know what a dimension is, tell me I don't know what a dimension is. But you're going to learn what it is. Okay, so a dimension is basically applying your glitters, your colors, all of your things in the nail rather than on a finished nail. So we're going to go just with a little bit of our Aquamarine, just kind of randomly on there. Victoria Kilman, she charges. Yes, I knew you would charge. Awesome. What? Anybody else? Do you guys charge for your dimensions, or is that part of your service price? Let me know. Let me know if you charge. All right, so again, just kind of dabbing a little bit of that aloe in there. I'm gonna grab another one of my art brushes. This is the number 9 brush. It's a feathering or a ombre brush from our brush kit. And I'm just gonna take this one and just kind of use that ombre brush to just kind of tap around and blend those colors together. Just to kind of fade them together. I'm not really trying to be super precise. I'm not trying to make this a perfect ombre or anything like that. I just want to kind of take away some of that sharpness of the edges of the color. Okay, so just kind of tapping or feathering the brush just to kind of blend those colors. And if I have some spaces where it's still clear, that's okay too. Not a problem. We're going to be adding a lot of different things over the top of this nail. You know what? I think I'm going to grab one other brush here. And I'm going to just find my liner brush here real quick. Okay, so this is the number 3. You guys can see it's a number 3 from our brush kit. It is a liner brush. I'm going to take a little bit of, let's see, we'll take a little bit of the green from that aloe. I'm going to put that onto my little mixing tile here so you guys can see. I'm going to take a little bit of that color and just get that a little bit closer up into my cuticle area. I don't want to get that product on the skin. I don't want it to run or flow into that cuticle area, but that little liner brush is going to help me just to get a little bit closer. Keep that product off the skin. And let's grab a little bit of our Aquamarine too, just in case. Grab a little bit more of that. And again, just kind of touching up around that cuticle. I want to still leave just a tiny little bit of space so that I'm not touching the cuticle and that my product is going to get a really nice tight seal onto that nail. If you start getting that product onto the cuticle and it's touching skin, there's a good chance that your product is going to lift. So always leave a tiny, tiny little bit of space in between there, okay? And again, let's just kind of come through here, blend that a little bit more, just to kind of bring those colors together a little bit. All right, so, oh yeah, it does kind of look like earth. Ooh, I like that. I gotta remember this for Earth Day. When is that? Does anybody know? Anybody remember when Earth Day is? Okay, we're gonna get this nail back into the light. When you're doing your dimensional nails, you're actually gonna be doing a lot of kind of in and out of that light. So the nails are gonna go in, but kind of keep in mind that as you're working on one hand, the other hand is in the light. Opposite how I was doing that. So as you're working on one hand, that other hand is in the light, and you're going to just go back and forth. You're not going to be waiting for this hand to come out of the light. You're going to go to that next hand and again go back and forth and back and forth. Okay, so just a quick 30-second freeze is all you really need in between these layers. At the end, we're going to do a final cure, and that's going to cure everything all the way through. Okay, I'm done with my gel polishes. Let's bring in some glitter. All right, so you guys, our glitters that we're using today are Fame Orbit, is kind of that bluish, tealish, aqua-ish. And we've got Literally is our green. The green has a little bit of a gold shimmer to it. Kind of keep that in mind. The blue has got actually kind of a little bit of a green shimmer almost. So as you're trying to choose your colors, kind of keep that shimmer in mind because that's what's really going to reflect light. So we've got our colors here. I'm going to grab just a little art brush here. This is actually one of the art brushes from our studio, what is it, our Instant Studio kit. And just a great set of art brushes here. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of that blue, and I'm just going to kind of tap it into that tacky surface of our gel polish. So the manicure does set with a tacky surface. Now, if we were doing just a regular gel manicure, we would top coat this and then we'd be good to go. But when we're working with our glitters, we're going to just press that glitter into that tacky surface. And it's going to just adhere there. I've got a little bit of that blue. Let's grab our green. So I'm kind of placing the blue over the blue and the green over the green. Now, does it have to be perfect? Does it have to go in exactly those spots? Absolutely not. Just kind of blend it in, whatever's catching your eye. And we'll just kind of get our glitters wherever we want them. Now at this point, pretty much this whole nail has glitter on it. So I'm actually going to come in I'll put a little bit more glitter. You guys know, I always think I'm done, but then just a little bit more. I just need just a little bit more. So I'm really just kind of making sure that I've got that whole tacky surface covered. And I'm just going to kind of tap those little pieces of glitter on there. Because I've got glitter on there, I'm not worried about getting gel onto my skin because that glitter, it's not allowing my skin to come in contact with that. So if you're concerned about that, don't worry. It's all good. I'm not touching uncured product, I promise. Okay, so I think we're good with those colors. Now, if you're working on a full set, a lot of times I'll actually put this hand back into the light just because that tacky uncured surface is still uncured gel. And by getting this glitter on there, it's kind of moving that gel around. So if we go back into the light, it's actually going to really solidify and set that glitter into that tacky surface. So now it's not going to move that glitter. It's all cured in there. Okay. So just kind of a hint, you don't have to cure it. It's going to be fine if you don't, but it's just going to help if you have glitters that you don't want to move at all. All right, let's get a few other things out here. All right, you guys, how are you thinking about the 150 so far? Are you kind of keeping in mind as to how much I'm adding in here? Do you guys know how to add in? Do you know how to add your prices? If not, let me tell you, okay? So as I'm working, each of the things that I'm adding in, each of those colors, each of these glitters are all going to be an extra charge, okay? How much do you think we would charge for each additional? You guys let me know. Let me know in the chat. What would you charge extra for all of these different colors and all these different glitters? I want to know what you're thinking. And is a little iffy on the 150, but we're trusting. I love that. I love it. That is so awesome. Because you know what? Yes, trust the process. And I'm going to explain, at the end, I promise you, I'm going to explain exactly what we're charging and why we're charging it, okay? Yes, a lot of people are saying an extra $5, $10. I love how you guys are thinking so far. That's awesome. Ooh, Ben Freaklin, you're charging a whole lot, and I love that. That is awesome. That's a good salary for a nail tech. Okay, so we've got our glitters on there. I'm going to come back with where's my brush here? I lost my brush. Okay, so I'm going to use my gel brush. I'm going to brush on, got my base gel again. I'm going to just brush on a fairly thin layer of that base. Now again, we're not trying to build up structure at this point. I'm just going to kind of leave just a layer here, just a layer for our glitters to adhere to. Now, as I work, I kind of start with my smaller glitters and then I work up to my bigger glitters. So we've already started with our smaller glitters. The blue and the green were the smaller pieces. Let's add a little bit more. All right, now I took the caps off. This one is Empty Apartment. So this one is a little bit bigger. And I'm going to grab again that little art brush and we're going to pick up just a few of those and just kind of lay them wherever you feel your design needs them. And then let's set those aside and let's grab, oh, you guys, I just spilled this because I was trying to look at the bottom. Emotional Standstill. So you see, I spilled everything. Don't do that. Don't do that as you're working, but it happens. Okay, so this was Emotional Standstill. So again, I'm just going to kind of tap a little bit into different spaces on that nail. And wherever you put the different glitters, you're going to get a different reflection. You're going to get a different glow. So I'm not trying to put this on the whole nail, okay? Just in certain areas. And then I think let's cure this one, and then I'll explain why. All right, so let me get that back into the light. All right, we're gonna go just another 30 seconds. So as I'm working, we're doing layers, we're doing dimension. We've got, like I was telling you, we've got some of the smaller glitters, we've got some of the bigger glitters. I'm even gonna throw some mylars and some, I think they're hexagons, so those larger chunks. Now, as you're working, if you can layer your designs in, it's gonna start to look like some of those glitters that are up on top are actually gonna be floating into that nail. So that's why we're doing these different layers. It's gonna give us a whole different, like I was saying, dimension into that nail, okay? So again, we're going to add another layer of our base to get a higher layer. So some of these bigger, chunkier glitters are going to sit up on top of the nail a little bit more like they're floating. And if you feel like you need a little bit more depth, add your base just a little bit thicker. You don't want to have it too thick. We're not trying to build up structure again at this point, but add that a little bit thicker and you're going to have a little bit more of a floating kind of a look. All right, so this was our Mylar. And again, I'm just going to kind of fill in some spaces. And I really love how this one reflects. This one has kind of a goldish tone. It's very deceiving because in the jar, you can kind of see, it looks like it has more of kind of a bluish glow. But if you look at it, kind of move that jar around, you'll see a little bit more of that gold. Okay, so it's really just going to reflect very differently depending on what colors you put it on top of. So kind of keep that in mind as you're going as well. All right, I think I'm liking where those are. Again, I'm going to set that into the light. And we're going to set that into place. Now again, you guys, this is a process, okay? So those of you that saw that $150 mark and you're like, ooh, that's a little on the high side, it's important because we're doing all these different layers. This is a time-consuming process. It's not just a quick overlay, okay? So you have to make sure that you're charging for your time as well as your product, as well as your skill. And again, I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth when we're all done with the nail so that you can actually see what that nail is going to look like and see exactly where that pricing comes in. This glitter is a hot mess. You saw my table. My table is a hot mess because I spilled that glitter. But this nail, it's not a hot mess. This is going to be beautiful. It is going to be so shiny, so almost opalescent. You're going to be amazed. So, all right. Again, one more coat of our base gel. Getting that over that whole nail. And maybe just a little bit more. And then again, we're going to pick up some of those hexagon confettis, setting those into some areas. And again, I'm not trying to get these on the whole nail. I find that if you kind of break it up and put some of those different shapes in different areas, you're going to get a totally different glow to the nail. And then kind of when you look at it and you move that nail, it's going to reflect all of those different dimensions, all of those different levels. And again, it's just going to be beautiful. So I think we're good there. Got some different pieces in there. And you know what? Maybe just a little bit more of our Mylar. And you guys, I'm sorry, I will let you know once I get all of my jars closed up what colors these are so that I don't spill another glitter as they're open. Okay, so adding just a couple more little flakes of that Mylar in just a few little spaces here. Okay, we'll get that back into the light. Again, another 30-second freeze. Let me close everything up. Is it Tiari? Nails can look like jewelry? Absolutely. And you guys, jewelry is a really amazing inspiration. So look at jewelry, look at necklaces and rings, and that's going to show you different color combinations. It's going to show you different styles, different techniques. So definitely look at everything for inspiration. So, okay, so now that I have everything closed and I'm not going to spill everything again, my two glitters that I started with was Fame Orbit was the blue, and then Literally is the green. And then our glitters were, let's see, I think I started with Empty Apartment. And then we had Emotional Standstill, was the one that I spilled. And then our Mylar is Wedding Rumors. And then our chunkier was Nightlight. So all of those different cuts, different colors, different styles are really just going to create that dimension. Okay, so let's put our base gel away. And then I'm going to come back with my Build Pink. Now, if we take a look at this nail from the side, you can see my little Mylars and things are kind of poking up, and that's okay. We're just going to encase everything with the Build Pink. And we're starting to get a little bit of structure because we're doing all of those different layers, but I want to make sure that I apply enough product so that I'm encasing everything at my cuticle area. I'm building up my arch a little bit here. It's looking like it's a little lower, kind of dipping down through the center here, but then just a little bit on my free edge, again, to encase all of those glitters, okay? Ooh, Verna King, how long does it take to do a set? That's a great question. And that actually depends, well, the time it takes doesn't depend, but the pricing is going to also have a factor with your timing, okay? Nails like this take a little bit more time, so you're going to have to charge a little bit extra because it's taking you more time. You want to make sure that you're filling your day with all of these services that are going to make you the same amount of money. So that's why we're going to need to charge for our time as well as our product, as well as our skill, okay? And again, you guys stick with me here. I'm going to break it all down at the end after I've filed and finished this. You can see the results of it, and then we'll talk about the specific pricing, okay? So stick with me here. But if you're enjoying our techniques today, if you're learning some things today, I would love if you guys would subscribe to our channel. It just helps our channel to be able to get all of this information out to all of the people that are wanting to learn, and that we can continue to do more of this education for you guys. So if you haven't already, give us a like, give us a subscribe, if I can even say the word. We appreciate you guys very much. Okay, so I've got my product on there. I'm going to just grab my brush and just kind of take those little edges, make sure that my product is right where I need it, flowing down those sides. And if there's a couple of pieces of that mylar or those confettis or anything poking up, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Let's just get that into the light. I'm going to set that in there again for a quick 30-second freeze, because I know with this, I'm going to have to add just a little bit more product onto that nail. So I'm going to give it just a 30-second freeze, and then I can come back and check that. Let's see. Ben Freaklin, can I get a pretend hug? Yes, I've pretend hugged you and pretend hugged everybody that is here. Thank you guys all for joining us. We appreciate you very much. Shelby and Zeus, I subbed. Thank you, thank you. Hannah, hello from Sweden. Me and my daughter do nails. Awesome. We actually have a great distributor, I believe, in Sweden. If you haven't been there yet, definitely check them out. But welcome from Sweden. Let's see. Okay, so I'm taking a look at this nail from the side. I can see I'm going to need a little bit more product right through here. So I'm just going to squeeze out a little bit more right in that low area, building up that arch. And again, you guys, I know you're probably thinking that is a hot mess. And it kind of is, a little bit. But I know that I've got my structure in there. I know that I've got enough product where I need it. Oops, sorry guys. And I'm going to do a little bit of filing at the end. So all of this is going to come into shape, and it's going to be perfect. Okay, so let's get this into our light for a full 60-second cure. Okay, while that's curing, let's start to talk about a little bit of our pricing here, okay? So let me put some things off to the side. So let's talk about what we're going to charge, okay? So anytime I'm doing a dimensional nail like the one that we're doing today, where the glitter is in there, you know what, let me do this. There you go. Okay, so now I can see you guys. All right, so when we're doing a dimensional nail like this, like I was saying earlier, it's going to take a lot more time, it's going to take more technique and skill, and it's also going to take more product. So these are some of the things that you're going to need to charge for, okay? So anytime I'm doing a dimensional nail like this, my price for that one nail is going to start at $10 for that one nail. One nail, you guys, one nail. $10 additional for that dimensional nail. Now, if we're doing two dimensionals, hang on a second, two dimensional nails, then I'm going to charge $10 for one nail and another $10 for that second nail. So $20 starting, okay? And with my dimensional nails, I include one color. Whether it's a color, whether it's a glitter, however you want to do it, that's how I charge. So my dimensions start with one color, okay? After that, each of these other colors, each of these other glitters, all of these different things, I'm going to charge an additional $5 per item, okay? Now, I know you're thinking, that's crazy, Karen. Why are you charging so much? Here's the thing, you guys. I have to keep all of these in stock, okay? I have a whole entire wall of glitter over on the side here that I have to keep in stock. So if I'm not charging for it, I can't afford to bring those products in and to have those at my salon. Okay, let's come back around here. I'm gonna put some things off to the side. Let's go ahead and file these, and then we'll keep talking about pricing once we've filed our nail out. And we'll get some specifics on our filing here. But in the meantime, once our gel is cured, it does have a tacky surface to it. I have got all kinds of things on my table. I'm gonna start knocking things over again. Okay, once our nail's cured, we do have to make sure we use our swipe. I'm gonna use a little lint-free wipe. Pump that on there, and we're gonna use that swipe to clean off all of that tacky surface, making sure that tacky surface is completely gone, and we are ready to file our nail. Now look at that, you guys. It looks so pretty already. See all that different reflection, all those different colors in there, those different layers. Awesome. I love it. I'm so excited. All right, let me put our e-file here. So I'm going to take out that sanding band, and I'm going to come over to my X-Cut. This is a carbide bit. It's a coarse, so it's gonna be fairly aggressive. I'm going to leave that little bit of space in there because I'm working on a longer nail. I want to leave that extra space so as I'm working, that top part of my handpiece doesn't bump into that extension, okay? Turn this up to about 14,000 RPMs. I'm going to turn on my dust extractor. I actually have to hit power for it to work. It's weird how that happens. Let me adjust you guys a little bit here. All right, so I'm gonna start by working around my cuticle area. Just gently, I'm not putting a ton of pressure. As I'm working with gels, I don't need to file with a lot of pressure. Gels file fairly easily, so kind of keep that in mind, okay? Then I'm gonna turn my nail on the side. I'm gonna look at it from this view, and I'm gonna just work down the arch of the nail. I've got a little bit of thickness right through here. I think I'm good right through here, but then a little bit of thickness on my free edge. So I'm just gonna work in those thicker areas. I'm not gonna do a lot of filing in those areas where I don't need to, but just taking down the bulk where I do want to. All right. Now, as I'm working, you guys, I'm kind of feeling I need to put a little bit of pressure on that nail itself so that I'm not putting too much pressure on that free edge. When you're working on those longer nails, it's really important to make sure that you're kind of counterbalancing and not putting too much pressure in areas that are going to put pressure on the nail, okay? All right, let's come back here. You know what, I got too excited, you guys. Let me take a little time, and I'm gonna come through and just kind of do some shaping on my sides. I'm gonna pull that bit down my left side, taking that in a little bit. On my right side, I'm gonna push up. I'm gonna try to do this so you guys can see here. I'm gonna push up, and I'm kind of balancing again on the other side. So when I'm working on the right side, I'm using my thumb to balance on the left side. Taking down some bulk, same thing on the right side, pressure on the right side when I'm pulling down the left side. All right, same thing, just kind of touching up those sides. So this is gonna make my filing at the end a little bit easier. You guys, anything I can do with the electric file that I don't have to do by hand, I'm gonna do that. It just is gonna make your life so much easier. Clean up that free edge a little bit. All right, I think we need a little bit, we got a little bit of bulk right again through that free edge. We'll take that down a little bit more. Okay, now we're gonna follow through the rest of that body, and I'm just gonna pull my bit forward, taking down any of that bulk, kind of contouring my sides a little bit, pulling just straight forward. Getting that all nice and smooth. And you guys, you can see I'm pulling from all the way back here forward. I'm not trying to do just little spots like that. If you're doing just those little areas, you're actually going to create a divot right in that area. So make sure that you're pulling all the way through, getting those nice long strokes, and that's going to give you a really nice even nail. Ooh, Max Connor, money is speed. Speed is money. Yes, you guys, if you're able to work on the quicker side, you're going to be able to get more clients in a day. Absolutely. But my big thing I'm going to tell you about that is don't sacrifice speed for technique, okay? I'm a big advocate of, yes, we all want to make money, but we still need to make sure we're doing good nails, okay? So I switched over to my sanding band. I'm going to turn my speed back down, whoops, not up, back down to about 7,000 RPMs, and I'm going to use this to really come through and just kind of taper my edges, making sure everything is nice and flush down to that nail. And again, this is something that is going to help me to have less work with my hand file. Just going through all of those same motions that I just did with my last bit, but this is going to really help to refine and really perfect your shaping. And a lot less work with that hand file, okay? Same thing, just kind of flowing through all of those different areas, just like we did before. And I think we're good to go now. I'm gonna just make sure my nail is nice and firm in there. I'm gonna grab my 150 grit file, and you guys, I've already taken off the sharp edges of my file here, so if you haven't done that, always make sure that you do. I'm gonna come in straight on my side, so I'm gonna work straight here through the nail body itself, and then I'm gonna angle my file a little bit down here to get more of that stiletto shape. Okay, so again, straight on my sides, and then into my stiletto. Let me readjust here just a little bit, give you guys a better view. All right. Again, straight on the sides, down into that stiletto. Same thing on my other side, and again, notice how I'm balancing. I'm putting pressure on the opposite side, so pressure here, pressure here, pressure here, pressure here, okay? That's gonna help to keep that nail from wobbling back and forth. It's also gonna help to give you really good straight lines. If I didn't put pressure on those sides, my file is gonna kind of wobble, that nail's gonna kind of wobble back and forth, so make sure, again, you're putting pressure so that you get really nice straight sides. Alrighty, I think we're looking good there. I'm gonna turn my nail on the side here. I'm gonna get my lower arch. I'm gonna come straight out from that natural nail, straight out from that side wall, making sure my file is coming straight in line with that finger. Okay, now I see a tiny little space here, and I don't know if you guys even notice it, but I filed a little bit of my product off. I'll show you how to touch that up, okay? Not a big deal. I'm gonna come on the same thing on my other side. This is just a little bit of a different view so you can see exactly how I'm filing that lower arch. I'm keeping that file nice and straight in line with that finger, nice and straight in line with that extension. All right, straighten that out just a little bit more. And you guys, you notice that as I'm doing a stiletto, it's not just a quick straight square nail, okay? So again, a stiletto is going to take you a little bit more time. It's going to take a little bit more perfecting. It's going to take a little bit more skill. So we're going to talk about how we're going to add in our pricing for that extra skill, for that extra shaping. Okay, let's come around our cuticle area, come down along our side walls, making sure everything is nice and tapered. And then I'm just going to kind of flow through that extension all the way, tapering down that free edge a little bit more, making sure everything is nice and smooth. Then I'm going to turn this around. Let me readjust so you guys can see. Come back out a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to check this nail from my client's perspective. I want to be able to see exactly what she's going to see on her nails. I want to make sure that everything is nice and straight, that there's no wonkiness to this nail. That is my favorite word, wonkiness. So make sure it's not wonky, make sure it's not going off in any other different direction. And then I'm going to bend that finger down so that I can see backwards down the barrel of the nail, okay? So from this view, you guys, you're going to be able to see all of those little lumps and bumps all the way through. You kind of want to lift it a little bit, kind of rock it down. You can see it's a little bit wide, needs a little bit more tapering right through here, and maybe just a little bit of a of a wonky spot right through here. So I'm going to come through, I'm going to come back out. I'm going to come back through and taper in and fix any of those areas that I saw that needed a little bit of an adjustment, okay? Make sure that you're contouring all the way from one side all the way over to the other side to get that really nice crisp shape. All right, I think we are good to go here. Okay, let me come back around here. I'm gonna dust this nail off really quick. And we've got a couple of little spots that have a little bit of that mylar poking out. So don't worry about it, not a major ordeal. What you're gonna do, take a brand new 180 grit buffer, okay? Brand new, it has to be new, otherwise if it's used and if it's kind of dulled down a little bit, it may smooth out that nail a little bit too much, and then you may have issues with your top coat chipping. So just give it a quick buff, and anywhere you may have those little pieces of confetti or mylar poking out, you don't necessarily need to buff the whole nail. It's not necessary and it's going to take time. So make sure that you don't waste that time doing something that you don't need to. But again, just getting those little frayed edges. Okay, let me turn off my dust extractor. We're going to dust her off here. I'm going to use a little bit of my swipe. Again, pump that onto my brush. We're going to clean this nail off. And I'm going to show you how to touch up that little spot on our side here. So we did a little bit of extra filing there, not a big deal. So I'm going to come in with my protein bond, giving this one more coat of our bonder. I'm going to come through here. You guys can start to see that beautiful glow in there, that beautiful, just different dimensions, different colors. So this was just our protein bond. This wasn't even the top coat yet, but we do have to fix that one little spot. So I'm gonna grab my liner brush again. So again, that was our number 3 liner brush. And where did my mixing tile go? So I got a little bit of dust on here, so let me just clean off a little space. Actually, no, I think we're good. I think I can pick up a little bit of this gel that doesn't have any glitter or dust in it. And I'm just going to just kind of touch in that little area, filling in that space. And I'm going to just clean out my brush just a little bit. Just kind of tap through that. And maybe you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to do this really quick trick here. I'm going to just use the edge of my nail wipe, and I'm just going to kind of tap at that to really just get it to kind of blend so that it doesn't have that really stark, oops, sorry guys, so it doesn't have that stark line. So just a little bit of blending, and then we're going to take just a little bit more of our gel, or sorry, of our glitter, and I'm going to come out here so you can see. I'm going to take just a tiny little bit and just touch it right into that wet gel. Just enough so that it kind of blends in there, okay? Let's give that a quick cure. We'll freeze that into place. And you guys, I'm just gonna do a quick 10-second cure. That's all that I really need to do to set that into place. And then we're gonna top coat, and then we will finish the nail up, and then we'll talk about pricing here, because I know you guys are dying to know. I'm dying to hear what you guys think as well. So as I'm working here, as I'm finishing up the nail, I want you guys to put into the chat, how much do you think this nail is actually, or this set, how much, we'll go with that. How much is this set actually going to cost? So if you've kind of been listening to what I've been saying about adding in your prices, let me know in the chat. What do you think? Is it going to be $150? Is it going to be more? Is it going to be less? I want to know what you guys are thinking. And would you pay that? Would you pay that for this nail, for this set? Okay, we'll get that into the light. And I'm going to put that in for a full 60-second cure, okay? Now, let me get out a couple of little things here. And we're gonna take some notes. Okay, I'm going to put my table towel back there. Let's see. Oh, we got some 120, 63. Woo. If you're only charging $63, you are way undercutting yourself. Barbie girl, 200. 226, 120, 120, 150, 120, 200. You guys, I think you guys are doing really good with some of your pricing here. So let's talk pricing. Okay, I got my little note here. So here is how I would charge for this set. My base price for my full sets is, anybody know if you've watched our videos before? My full set, oops, full set, okay. Sorry, you guys, I have terrible handwriting. I apologize right away. Okay, so my full set start at $100. Okay, oops, 100. You know what? Hang on a second. There we go. Let me give me a little bit more space here. Okay, so again, my full set starts at $100, and that is for a short active length set. Okay, anything additional to that is going to be an upcharge. So if I'm going to do a longer nail like I did here, I'm going to add on for the length. If I were doing, so say I was doing, my short active set would be to about here. Okay, my medium length nail maybe about to here. My long, extra long, anywhere from that is an additional price. Okay, so because we're doing, I would say this would be a long set. Okay, I'm going to charge for length. Okay, and I'm going to charge, because it's a long nail, I'm going to charge an additional $20. If it were more of a medium set, I would go with $10. Okay, but it kind of goes, I kind of go in $10 increments. So that base set is 100, 110, 120. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind, because again, as we were doing a longer set, we're using more product, we're taking more time. Okay, the next thing I'm going to charge additional for is my custom shaping. Okay, so again, if I were doing just a short square nail, my short square nails is all included in that $100. My custom shape, whether it's a stiletto, a coffin shape, an almond, anything outside that normal square is going to be an additional price. And for my custom shaping, I charge an additional $10. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about all of the art that we added in. Okay. We did, let's just say we did 2-dimensional nails. Anybody remember how much I charge for dimensions? If you don't, I'm going to tell you, don't worry. So for a dimension, apparently I can't talk and write at the same time. For each dimensional nail, I charge $10 because you guys saw how long this one nail took. Okay, I have to charge for my time. I have to charge appropriately. So for each dimension is going to be an additional $10. Okay, so we're going to say on this set that we did 2, so we're going to go times 2. Okay, now my dimensions include one color. So whether it's a glitter, whether it's a color, whatever it is, I include one. Now you can charge however you want to, but this is how I do it, okay? So with my dimensions, I include the 1. Now for each additional, so each additional color, each additional glitter is going to be $5. Okay, so how many additional did we add in here? We did a second color, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so we did 7 additional colors. Now, here's the thing. You guys, if your client doesn't want all 7 colors, doesn't want to pay for all 7 colors, that's fine. That's her budget. Okay, but just because her budget is not, you know, within your pricing, that's not on you. That is on her. She has the choice to choose all of these different colors or not. Okay, so let's see. We got that. We got our dimensions. We got our colors. Is there anything that I'm missing, you guys? All of you nail techs out there, is there anything else that you would charge additional for? I think I've got all of the different things that I would normally charge for here. I mean, like, yep, okay. So let's total this up. So let's go our dimensional nails. So this is going to be $20. 5 times 7 is 35. I think I did the math right on that. So we've got 100, 120, 130, 140, 150, 185. Okay, so 185, you guys. That is what I would charge for this set. Okay, now, here's the thing. As a nail tech, Does this $185 go to me? I see a couple of people saying, yep, this is way too much, it's overpriced, and I understand, okay? But let me explain where that $185 goes to. That doesn't just go right into my pocket, okay? I'm gonna tell you guys, as a salon nail tech, I have all kinds of expenses that this $185 is gonna go to first, okay? So first and foremost, I have salon rent that I have to pay, okay? Everybody's salon rent is gonna be different, but that's an expense. I have to pay for my license. Not my driver's license, you guys, my nail tech license. There are some salons where you will have to pay for your business license. Okay, what else? In my state, I'm required to take continuing education. Okay, I have to pay for those classes. That comes out of my pocket, okay? Those aren't free classes, and I am required by law to take those before I can renew my license, okay? As a nail tech, I have to have liability insurance. Okay, I have to pay, again, out of my pocket for my liability insurance, okay? Now, let's talk about, we have to pay for product. Okay, all of these different things, you guys, all of these different glitters, all of these different colors, I had to keep on my shelf. I have to keep this stocked. I have to make sure that I have all of that product to be able to use on my clients, okay? Now, product is not just polishes and glitters, it's also cleaning products, disinfectant, towels. I actually use terry towels for my lap. I use terry towels for cleaning because they are reusable, but I also have to pay for laundry. Okay, I either have to take them home, wash them at home, pay for my water at home, soap. Otherwise, I can wash them here at the salon, but it's a pay laundry. So it's $1 for wash, $1 for dry. So I have to have that expense as well. What else, you guys? We have to pay taxes. So again, before that $185 even goes into my pocket, I have to pay taxes. Okay, you guys, tax day is on Monday. Make sure you get your taxes done. And if you are a nail tech, a salon nail tech, a lot of times we have to pay quarterly taxes, so make sure you do that, okay? So you guys, again, those of you that are saying this $185 is way too much, that $185 is probably cut in half at least by all of these different expenses, okay? Now, after all of these expenses, then that money goes to me, and then I can pay my mortgage, I can pay my health insurance because I'm an independent nail tech. I don't have, an employer paying my health insurance. I don't have an employer paying my sick time, my vacation time, any of those things. As an independent nail tech, I have to pay for those things myself. I have to pay for my car, my gas, my groceries, my utilities, all of those different things, you guys. So those of you, again, that are saying $185 is a lot for a full set, remember, it's that time that's going to take me to do all of that. It's that product. It's all of those skills that I need to have to do all of these different things. And that $185 goes to pay for all of these other things other than just into my pocket, okay? So let me flip around here. Those of you guys that are, nail techs in salon, I hope that you guys are charging these prices. I hope that you are not underselling yourselves. I hope that you guys are able to make a really good, solid income. And some of these techniques, some of these tips on how I charge, I hope you guys will take them into consideration when you are, figuring out your own pricing. Don't undersell yourself, you guys. If you're not charging these prices, you're not going to be able to make a good income. You're not going to be able to support yourself, support your family, pay your bills, all of these things, okay? So you guys, make sure that you are setting your prices how they should be set, keeping the industry standard higher so that us as nail techs, we can make a good income, and this can be a lifelong career for you guys. If you are a aspiring nail tech, if you are a nail enthusiast, if you are a client, please keep in mind, if your nail tech is telling you that your service today is $185, Please respect that. Please understand that that is not just going right into her pocket or his pocket. That is going to all of those expenses. So I hope you guys learned something today. If you enjoyed today's discussion, if you enjoyed the nail, oh, I forgot to show you guys the nail. Let me show you in a second here. But if you enjoyed today's live stream, please like our channel, please subscribe to it. It's a way for us to be able to get more information out there into the nail world and give you guys great education, give you guys a boost in your careers or in just your hobby. So thank you for joining us. Let me flip back around one more time and I will show you our beautiful nail here. So now you can see all of that different beautiful glow in there, all of those different colors, all of that different dimension. And you guys make sure if you do try any of these designs that we're showing you, please tag us. We want to see, please tag Young Nails. We want to see what you're doing. We want to see that you're learning and you're growing and enjoying doing nails. So all right, you guys, I know you're staring at the nail. It is gorgeous. I wish you could see it in person because it is way more beautiful in person than on camera. But you get the gist of it and try it at home. All right, you guys, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Do some beautiful nails this weekend and have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next week.